Hey guys, so in today's video, let's talk about what you need to know about insurance approval for your meds. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dee. I am a nurse, student, and a rheumatology patient making weekly videos on Thursdays. So if that sounds like something that you'd like, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell so you don't miss any of my videos. I know insurance is not the most interesting aspect of healthcare, but I think it's important to understand just how a basic prior authorization works, because it will help you understand the process and troubleshoot, so you're not sitting there waiting a month to get insurance approval for your medication when you've been sitting there for months to years already miserable and in pain and having all these things. So it goes by many names: prior authorization, prior approval, pre-certification, predetermination, depending on your insurance, but we'll say PA for short. A PA is basically your insurance company saying, okay, I am going to pay my part for this medication for a period of time. If you do not have that prior authorization set before you buy the medication, you're going to get that bill. And see, for some of these medications, they're not very expensive, such as like methotrexate is like $20 a pop for like a 28-day supply. But if you're going into the Humira territory, Enbrel, Orencia, Remicade, Rituxan, those kinds of categories, Xeljanz, one dose is thousands of dollars on GoodRx. So you kind of want that insurance company to go and pay that bill, because you want them to cover that stuff. In order to get approval, what usually happens is your doctor sends in a formal request to the insurance company, either electronically, on the phone, or by fax, over to them saying, hey, we want this person to have this medication and this dose for this diagnosis code for these reasons. They send in the doctor's note. Older than 6 months, they're going to likely deny it just because the notes are too old. So that's why you don't want to go too long without seeing your doctor. They're going to want to look at labs. Certain labs they're going to require, depending on the medication, to approve automatically. So like for your Humiras, your Enbrels, your Orencias, Rituxans, your Remicades, your Symphonies, you will not get an approval if they do not have documented proof that you are negative for tuberculosis, negative for hepatitis B, and not in dire straits with your blood counts. Because it could cause harm, and they don't want to pay for anything that is going to be considered harm. Likewise, they don't pay for anything they consider experimental. So if it's a new medication that's like doing trials still, like a human trial, they won't pay for that either. So it has to be one that's been out there for a while, and it has to match the condition and the age group. Some medications are approved for adults and not children. So if they go through all the stuff, they're going to look at a list, because they have a preferred list of medications that are cheaper, that have a plethora of research to show that this medication works for this diagnosis. What you might find is that the insurance company will be like, all right, yeah, they definitely need a medication, but I don't see any documentation that they tried this medication, which is cheaper. A lot of times, though, your rheumatologist has been through this loop enough times with enough insurance companies, and the prior auth teams that work in the office that do the insurance things, they've done it so often that they know the basic typical first line stuff that they'll probably approve versus other ones that they're going to be like, you need to try this medication first. So the doctor's office sends all this information to the insurance company. They look, They see, make sure that you have all the labs done, that it would be safe to give. They look to see if you've tried other medications before you've tried this other medication that they usually expect to see based on research. And anywhere between 1 day, depending on the situation, or 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks. They come back with a decision whether they're going to approve it, like, yes, I'm going to pay my part for this med, or no, we're not paying for it, and this is why. It's not a fun thing to deal with. Some tips that you can do to help speed up the process: call the doctor's office and check in. After a few business days, I would call back. Make sure you didn't fall through the cracks, because you're not the only patient getting a prior approval. Be like, hey, what date was it sent? Or what I also would do, I would call my insurance company, ask them if they received it. They'd be like, hey, I'm calling to check on the status of a prior authorization for this medication. And they'll say if they got it or not. Some insurance companies will require the office to fax it, and if the fax doesn't go through, they ain't got it, and the doctor's office are thinking that they sent it. If they say they didn't get it, ask them if they checked the pharmacy benefit and the medical benefit. If it's an infusion, most of the time that is not pharmacy benefit, because you're not going to a pharmacy and picking it up. You're going to a facility. So you're paying a bunch of facility fees as if you went to the hospital or for a doctor's visit. So sometimes insurance people don't know that. So when you call, ask them what the status is of their prior authorization for this medication. And if they say they don't have it, then ask them if they check the pharmacy and the medical benefit end of things. If they still say they don't have it, okay, that's when you call the doctor's office. Hey, they said that they don't have it, so could you please resend that, application in? Maybe a day or two, I'm calling the insurance company again. Hey, do you have this PA? Oh yeah, we received it on this day. Okay, how long does it take to process? It normally takes 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, is there anything that I can do to accelerate this process? Even if they say no, I'm calling back in a couple days anyway. Hey, what's the status of the PA? Couple days later, what's the status of the PA? They're going to have to write no after no after no. It will eventually get your stuff moved up with most insurance companies. I hope this was helpful. I feel like a lot of people, and I'm not just patients, there are a lot of healthcare people that don't even understand fully how insurance works. So that's why I think it's important to really understand how the insurance stuff works for you. I hope you found this helpful. Leave a comment if this was confusing, or if this was helpful, share it with someone else. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.